Hello.
Greetings.
And
Rename me. Having replies. Bleh.
you are you. And I am a spaceship. Why am I? Oh, would help if I move take the camera. Turn the camera actually on.
Salutations.
So what is going on? Yep.
Short day at work, but I started at 4 a.m. Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody hear from Jim?
No.
I texted him. I texted him earlier today asking if he was going to send the meeting announcement out, and haven't heard from him. So I don't know. So
I don't have an announcement. Can you hear me, by the way?
oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Dum 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 dum.
I got one of the new M5 stack dials.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, this thing is super cool. It's got a encoder, RFID tag reader, little threaded deal, so you can stick it in something.
So is that so you mount it through a piece of sheet metal or what?
Mount it to anything you want, really. I found that on Thingiverse, which is somebody designed to hold it. It it actually has an up and a down. They've got it marked. You can't see it, but it's marked. This is the top and this is the bottom. There's a physical button, a touch screen, the encoder, the RFID reader, and an S3 ESP32 S3. And then it's got I don't know what they call that. I guess it's kind of like an Amphenol connector for power, and then it's got 2 Grove ports, and it's got USB power as well. So you can mount this like in the wall and run, I think it's set up to
Just
30
power to
volts.
it.
Do what?
Just power.
Yeah, just
Nice.
run. I think it said 30 volts. I think you can run like a 30 volt line to it. Of course, that means you got to wire your house for DC, but that should be easy enough to do.
Well, Edison would be happy with that.
Somebody would. Tell you, if I had gotten a house that didn't have any walls, I was going to run DC through it. Because I wanted to put USB chargers all over the place. So, so I was going to do that anyway. But this would be awesome. Just stick it in the wall. You want lights? Turn it up, turn it down.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And of course, I'm going to make it drive this thing around.
Oh, cool. So what's your background there today, Leroy? Well, I see the space. I see the flying saucer, but I'm looking at the picture behind it. What is the picture behind it?
Oh, the water?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I suppose we probably could Google where that was filmed. That's from This Island Earth. That's
Oh, okay.
that's the spaceship from This Island Earth. I suppose that was, I don't know. Let's see. San Francisco, maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Well, it doesn't look like it now. That was after it got zapped.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know
And in
the
1955, what did San Francisco look like?
Well,
Uh, it says on the Wikipedia that it was actually filmed in Mount Wilson, California, but it doesn't really say what that ocean is. Well, I would assume that
That would be
has
the
to be
Pacific.
that would be the
so
Pacific.
it's either the Pacific or some
Yeah.
estuary off the Pacific. I didn't get the reference on the movie, so
Yeah, I don't really see anywhere that specifically says, you know, what that background was.
Mount Wilson.
Mount Wilson.
Okay. I'll have to look that up. That doesn't ring any bells either, so.
Oh, Mount Wilson Observatory.
Oh,
San Gabriel Mountains near Pasadena.
Southern California. Beach Boys territory. But not in 1955.
That would be a little early for them.
Just slightly, not very late 50s, early 60s.
So that's not too far from Glendale and Los Angeles.
Yeah, well, it's basically Southern California. It
So
is 400 or 500 miles from where I live. So,
Santa Barbara. So maybe it's down
well, Santa
near.
Barbara would be north of there, north and west of there.
Yeah, maybe it's Long Beach. Maybe that's out looking over Long Beach.
Could be. At any rate, that's
So
cool.
somewhere in that neighborhood. Somewhere. Yeah, actually, if no, doesn't really match the map. Of course, the map is not great. So
Oh well. So no word from Jim, huh?
I have not heard from Jim. So I was thinking maybe right in this area.
Were they traveling this? Ah, yes.
Um, I don't know.
I thought
Uh
maybe she had um, a race or something like that.
that is a possibility.
I know they travel periodically for the races, but I don't know. He didn't say anything last week, as I recall.
Yeah.
Wait, races?
She jogs or
Ah,
runs,
okay.
She
marathons,
she speed walks.
speed walks.
It's just think of a horse race, and then think of cantering.
Yeah.
It's a specific kind of walking where you have to use a certain
Gait,
style
bend
of,
your knees. Yeah.
yeah, so forth and so on.
Yeah.
I remember going to the canterers and the trotters when I was a kid in Ohio. Those are the ones where the guy doesn't sit on the horse's back. He sits in this little two-wheeled sulky that gets pulled behind the. It's really quite interesting.
Um,
Probably one of the half dozen people still alive who remember those.
I th I thought they were well, I thought they were still doing those kinds of races in Lebanon. I see those carts every now and
Uh,
then.
they could be. I remember at the fairgrounds them hauling those sulkies around and so forth. I haven't seen one of those races in
A while.
yeah, I was gonna say thinking might be close to 60 years now.
Harness racing.
Yeah, I was harness racing, but then it falls into various subcategories, canterers and the trotters and the blah 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 blah. A lot of money put in that.
Yeah, they're still doing well. It's probably not exactly the same. They're still doing it in Lebanon now.
Okay, I'll have to get up there and see it. So, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yep,
Live racing will return in January. Good, good, good.
that's pretty cold weather for. Well, I don't know. Maybe this year it won't be.
Yeah.
It has not.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx
It's
it.
gonna be. It's been a strange year.
Yeah, the Lebanon Speedway or Raceway, uh, that's what they do. They do harness racing there.
Interesting. I will have to make a plan to get up there sometime. The Lebanon is what, up 71?
From you, yes. From me, it's just over
It's just east of
down,
you?
just down the street. Yeah,
Well, okay.
I'm not too far from Lebanon.
Well, you're between 71 and 75?
I'm no, I'm closer to 75. 71 is further east,
So you're west of 75?
just barely.
Okay.
Just I mean 75 runs pretty much through. So there's Springboro, well, there's Franklin and there's Springboro. And
Mm-hmm.
75 runs right through the two cities. And I sit not even a mile from 75. So,
Okay.
I mean, you might as well say that I'm on 75, but 71 would be several
East.
several miles east of
Yeah.
Springboro. So I'm not really in between, but I'm close enough that I could get to either one. Lebanon would be southeast of me. So it's kind of above Springboro, and
I see.
kind of south, but it's I want to say it's probably within 5 to 7 miles from the house. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Okay.
no, it doesn't take any time at all to drive to Lebanon. Um,
Well, I think that's where Vicente is, isn't he? Over that someplace over towards Lebanon. I thought he said he moved to when he moved. I don't know, at this point, a couple of years ago, I thought he moved over towards Lebanon someplace.
I see. I thought he was closer to you. He may have moved from Lebanon, but
Okay.
I don't know. Um, if he's that close, I'm surprised I'm not at his house more. He's got toys
Yeah, that's true.
and room to play.
Yep.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. Yes, room to play. I need room to play. But yeah, Lebanon's not that far from me. And I remember driving when I was younger. Um, used to see the carriages that the horses pulled all the time. They would carry them on the back of pickup trucks.
Yeah, sulkies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
used to see those all the time. So I knew what you were talking about when you said that.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, when I was a kid, as I remember, the the racing like that, those guys look down on the flats. And the flats are where the drivers or whatever are don't have a sulky. They sit in a saddle. And it was just kind of a class system, as I recall.
Yeah. I'd think that it would be harder to ride on the saddle than it would be to ride in the cart, but
Well,
since
I
I've
gotta
done
tell
neither,
you, if they get their wheels crossed, you can have a hell of an accident. Right?
well, since I've done neither, I really shouldn't comment one way or the other, but
I've never ridden in a sulky. I've ridden on on the flats. In other words, I've ridden on
horseback,
horseback. Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah. You had to be pretty unusual growing up in Ohio when I did that you have never gone horseback riding.
That is something I have never done. I've never been horseback riding.
Oh, that was actually a function for one of the options for a date or whatever. You could go horseback riding. It was not inexpensive. I guess unless you owned your own horse, in which case it's definitely not inexpensive.
The the youngest kid, he used to help take care of the little miniature horses out at one of the ranches that's around here.
Oh, the little ponies, you mean?
No, these things are actually horses. They're just minis. They're tiny.
Oh, they
Um,
use them for kid riding or what?
well, I'm not real sure what they're bred for. I've seen them that for pictures. And they're cute little horses. But my understanding, they are just as ornery as
Yes.
their full-size cousins, and
Yes.
you do not want to mess with them because they will hurt you badly.
Yes.
So, um, I guess they need some sort of special care or something for the minis that larger horses, I guess, can take care of themselves. I don't know.
So does he work on a farm for these or what?
He volunteered at see there, to the south of us. There used to be a couple of different ranches, and they were horse ranches. And I think at this point both of them have closed shop. But they had those little horses, and he volunteered to help take care of them. So
Hmm.
he didn't get paid for it. He would go in there after work or whatever and feed them and pet them and walk them or whatever it was he had to do to them. And so
That's interesting.
he just liked taking care of them. He thought they were neat little things, but he had to learn a bunch about horse safety and
Yeah.
what not to do with them because
Mm.
they could hurt him.
Well, if you get behind a horse or even a cow, if you get kicked from the backside, it can basically it can kill you.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, there was a place, I think in Hamilton, that took a bunch of these horses in. And they asked him to go and volunteer, but Hamilton was too far away to go because they needed people that actually understood the horses. But
Hmm.
since it was all
Yeah.
volunteer work, he wasn't going to drive clear to Hamilton to do it.
So, Steve, why 4 a.m.?
We had to move a database
Oh,
from one piece of hardware to another, and the only real time to do that is when everybody's asleep. Wasn't my idea.
In theory, everybody's asleep.
Yeah. Well, all the customers were.
Yeah, I love Spectrum doing their updates at like 2 o'clock in the morning because nobody's awake. And I'm
yeah,
like, I'm awake.
yeah.
Last 2 days, we've had some interesting stuff with our network. It cut out twice on me today just for a second. And yesterday it was really intermittent. I have no idea why, but I was at work and I'm always connected into my machines here. My connection dropped. I messaged Marla like, hey, something going on. And I had her moving cables around, and then when she wasn't doing anything, it came back up, went back down. They were putting in poles down the street, so I assume they had to splice something.
So, who is the service provider to your company?
We have several. Cincinnati Bell through Alta Fiber. We've got a Spectrum line, well, actually a Spectrum Fiber, and we've got a third through some other company with our IPs sponsored by all of them. If one goes down, our IPs shift, all the firewalls move, pretty impressive, actually. They
Yeah,
do
it
a good
sounds like
job
it.
with that. The firewalls are pure Linux boxes. That's fun.
When I lived out in Hamilton, we had Spectrum. Well, it was Time Warner then, but um we started having intermittent connection problems, and finally got to the point where they had to send a tech out. And what had happened was whoever put the line in, we happened to have one of the fastest connections where we lived. Everybody else was either didn't have internet or was just on a slow connection and they didn't notice any difference. We happened to have one of the fastest connections they had at the time. And what had happened is whoever installed it the first time installed it to a fence post. And as rain and erosion happened, the fence post started to bend.
Oh, really?
So the tiny little leeway that they gave for
Like a service loop?
like a service loop started to stretch, and it started to pull wires loose. And the guy was like, "Yeah, I don't know who did this, but they hosed you over big time." So they fixed it, and my service went from what they promised to me, the 100 megs or so that they had promised, to almost 200 meg download speed, just because it probably wasn't right from the start. I probably should have been getting a whole lot faster uh, downloads to start with if they would have put it in there right. So
Why would you string a wire to a fence post?
that is called
Spectrum.
Time Warner. That is called being lazy
Oh,
and
man.
not wanting to carry the wire out an extra 20 foot to an actual telephone pole and wire it the way it should have been wired in the first place.
Also, Time Warner at that point and Spectrum both didn't do most of their own wiring. They spec'd it out to
Yeah,
locals.
it was a contract. I'm sure it was a contractor. But and they do just enough to get it going and no more.
Yep. They
Yep.
get paid by the job, not by the time.
Yep. Yeah, I worked for a satellite installer for a while, and that's exactly how they were. They got paid by the job. You
And
get
not enough.
you get it installed and you see that it works, and then you go away, you go to the next job, and you've got probably 10 or 15 jobs a day to do. And they want to know why you don't finish your work if you could only get 10 of them done. They want to know why.
Were you climbing around on roofs and so forth to put these things in?
Sometimes basically you put that dish wherever you get a signal at, and that's why you find some in the backyards pointed at trees, and some of them you'll see on the roofs, because all you really need is a clear line to the satellite. So there was uh one guy, he put a bunch of them behind trees that didn't have leaves on them, and of course when summer came and leaves came, we get phone calls. Hey, our dish isn't working. Yeah. Yeah, we know why. Because he's an idiot and he didn't think far enough ahead that the leaves would block the signal.
Okay, but by that time, let's call this guy Bob. Bob had already gotten paid.
And
He
Bob didn't
didn't,
care.
and Bob might have gotten paid a second time to go out there. So really, Bob's kind of a genius.
Well,
Except that we were told to push, get it done. Faster is better, faster is better. But we were also told that if we had to go back to refix something, we weren't getting paid for that job. That was on us. So
oh, so you were basically carrying the guarantee, the service guarantee. The
so
company was not.
Bob would have now granted that probably would be 6 months later and maybe nobody remembered that Bob did the job, but had Bob done that during summer, somebody would have remembered that Bob did that and he would have had to not get paid. Probably didn't get paid for the second job anyway. So
So when I see advertisements in Milford for what I think was advertised as AT&T fiber, you're saying it's actually a different service provider? That AT&T wasn't providing the fiber, somebody else?
AT&T provides the fiber, but somebody else does the install usually.
Oh, you mean the last 100 feet from the
Yeah.
fiber to your basement or wherever it goes?
yeah, usually there's a third party contractor that will actually do the in-house install.
Okay.
And um you know, once you start having a lot of issues like with me and Time Warner, I mean, I went round and round with these guys for a while and they finally sent a Time Warner tech out who figured out what the problem was. But they kept
Because
wanting
he
to,
had the tools to do it.
yeah. Well, they kept wanting to send the contractors back out. And I'm like, okay, but they keep telling you that there's nothing wrong. And I'm telling you there's something wrong. So
So this Alta Fiber is a separate company?
Alta Fiber bought the fiber component of Cincinnati Bell.
Okay.
Or more likely, Alta Fiber always owned it and Cincinnati Bell was leasing it. Because Alta
Okay.
Fiber is big.
Okay.
yeah,
Well, I got it running right across my front lot line, just inside the sidewalk. So they put this orange conduit under the ground immediately about a foot back of the sidewalk.
I gotta say that when I have connected to Steve's network to download the video, last week's video, 1.7 gigs or whatever, it got here like that. I mean, I didn't take any time at all to download that.
And I'm seriously considering moving up a tier.
So, I mean, I'm only at 300 meg down here. So it's already fast. It's
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to
Yes.
do both down and up.
yeah.
I think, don't you? I don't know how you're transferring and so forth. So
Yeah. His is extremely fast.
Okay, this is weird.
That doesn't seem all that fast.
Yeah, earlier today it was at 6:45. Huh. I wonder if my kid is downloading something at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that ain't normal. Well, I'm going to stop that share. Oh, yeah, something is wrong. Normally, my latency loaded is like 10 milliseconds, and it's at 227 right now.
Yeah,
Huh.
somebody else is pinching the line, so to speak.
But I've normally my download is about 600 and my upload is about 310. So
That is
just
impressive.
just a little over half.
I'm actually kind of impressed with mine.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good, especially since I'm videoing and they're watching streaming and everything. Of course, my latency is a little high, but I don't really care.
Has anybody experimented with the what is called Starlink? This
Mhm.
thing you said yes?
Yeah, I don't have it, but my stepson, son-in-law, I don't know, does.
One of those.
Yeah. It's pretty quick. It's not as quick as fiber.
Well, I don't see the argument for it. Given the pricing, I don't see the argument for it unless you really live in the boonies someplace.
Or you have an RV.
That's true.
Yeah, I could see it. So at
Yeah.
one point, I wanted to do my own company, build out a 40-foot shipping container with a rack in it. Well, a couple of racks. And yeah, Starlink on the roof of that thing would have been absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of indifferent to Starlink. I think it's got a use case, but I'm kind of like you. I think if you were out in the boonies or in an RV, it makes perfect sense.
Well,
But there's
curiously enough, we have a lot of places here in California where you're away from the major population centers, where the best case scenario, X Starlink, is satellite, which is terrible in terms of latency.
I remember probably 20 years ago, we were out. I was helping an auctioneer set up an auction, and we were out in the boonies, and the guy had satellite, and it was the most aggravating thing I had ever worked with to try to get any kind of information. I mean, its download speed was just slightly better than dial up,
Yeah.
but you had to you had to use the phone line. I forget how that worked. I think the phone line was for your
Outbound.
uplink.
The phone line is for up, and the
And the
satellite
satellite was your
for
downlink.
down.
Oh, it was the most aggravating thing I ever saw. And I was like, if you're already making a dial-up call in, why, and the speeds aren't really that much better than dial-up, why don't we just do a dial-up connection? I mean, because it really wasn't any better. And if for some reason you lost, if there was a cloud in the way or something and you lost that connection, you were done. It was done. It was just, it was horrible. Okay.
My mom had Hughes for a while, which irritated me greatly.
So was that satellite?
Yes.
Hughes was satellite? Okay.
Yeah, HughesNet. That may have been what we were using out there in the boonies. Yeah.
For a while, it only worked in Windows. You needed a special network driver on a Windows PC, and I had looked into that too, and nah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the most contrary thing I had ever messed with. Almost
Not
to the
yet ready
point.
for prime time.
Well, we got to the point where we were trying to do something and we drove back into town, which was 15, 20 miles away, and went to a McDonald's and sat there on their Wi-Fi to actually get something done.
Now, why would an auctioneer need an internet connection? Was it an online auction?
He wanted to try to do the online auction.
Oh, okay.
Because he thought that it being out in the boonies where it was, that not a whole lot of people would show up. And we finally just came to the realization that we were never going to do online out there. It was either advertise the heck out of that auction and hope people show up, or pack everything up and bring it into town and rent a room to auction it out of. And
So
neither
what was the
choice was
auction?
a good. Oh, so the guy, he lived in a private lake house and he had a lot of high-end stuff, but he had a lot of it. And it would have probably taken 2 or 3 semi trucks full of stuff, plus days worth of packing the stuff up, plus days worth of unpacking the stuff to.
Well, what was this, like antiques or something? Or
It was a little bit of all kinds of stuff. He had a lot of watches, a lot of really high-end watches.
okay. So some jewelry and that kind of stuff.
Yes. And the only thing I really remember
Excuse me.
that I was really impressed with was I didn't really care about the watches or the jewelry or the cuckoo clocks or any of that stuff. The one thing that I was most impressed with was the Rolls Royce. He did have a Rolls Royce.
Oh, cool.
Really?
Yes.
You
And the
remember any
Rolls,
details?
it was older. It was nice. It was really
You,
nice.
you mean like in the
Well
like
kept.
1930s kind of older, or
I would say I think it was late 50s, early 60s.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, the silver clouds were pretty pricey, as I recall.
the that was the one thing that the auctioneer decided to hold back from the auction, and he did take it and bring it into town to auction it because he got some good money for that car. And
When
I
I was
haven't
a
do what?
when I was a kid, my first job was this thing called Golden Bridge, and it was paid for by Social Security. And basically my job was to go talk to old people for a while. I was 14, I guess, and I had two guys named George in Oxford. And one of them was in a wheelchair and just angry at the world. The other one was into CBs and roses and happy that he was still breathing. And I did this job for just a summer, I think. And the one that had the roses, I used to play chess against him. That was what he wanted to do, play chess. And when it got warm, we'd go out and tend to roses. And he told me to go out in the garage and get a shovel. So I go out there. He's got a 1921 Rolls-Royce Silver Phaeton
Wow.
Oh, man.
with a dented fender. And we worked on that. Because my dad did a lot of old body work. So we had lead and lots of beeswax and the floats
Yeah.
and everything. And we worked on the fender on that thing. And over the course of the summer, it ended up looking pretty good.
Wow.
Still needed to be painted, but lead doesn't need to be protected too much. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this was before fiberglass, or
No, fiberglass existed, but you don't do that for a Rolls Royce.
yes, I
No Bondo.
I understand.
So if you've got a car like that, you want it to be right. It has to be right.
Well, the
Yeah.
steel on those is probably pretty robust, also, I would guess.
Yeah.
This guy had, like I said, he lived in a private lake house out in the boonies. He probably had enough money to actually get good internet, but didn't have good internet. Maybe that was all he could do out there. I don't know at the time, but it was like a 3-story house, and it was jam-packed full of stuff. Just stuff. I think, the watches and the jewelry was what the auctioneer thought would bring in the money. But he had furniture, he had like some art pieces that I know nothing about because I don't care about art. Well, I care about art. I just don't care about art.
Yes, I understood.
But yeah, the guy obviously had some money at one point in his life when he died and it passed to his estate. I'm guessing his estate didn't really know what to do with all the stuff.
This was while he was still alive, though, I take it.
No, he had passed away. And
Oh, so this was an estate auction.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm guessing, that, like I said, his heirs just didn't know what to do with all the stuff. But I'm sure they made out fine though, because I think that Rolls Royce brought a pretty good sum of money. I remember that was the same auction when he auctioned that car off. I had bought a old police motorcycle from the city of Oxford that didn't run, and I bought it for $75 and he sold it for $750 at that same
Dang.
auction. Yeah.
So
I was quite happy.
So I was going to say, who got the
Yeah, what was his cut? 30%?
Actually,
Half?
no, because I was helping him set auctions up and everything. He took 10%. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so you gotta,
basically he took what I paid for it. So I had $150 invested in that. So it was a heck of a deal.
I'm gonna say, that's,
Um, I just, when I went to this, it was at a police auction there in Oxford, and it was the last thing they auctioned. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's a Harley Davidson. That's a real police bike that doesn't run and doesn't, it was missing parts. It looked like hell. And they start off at like $400 or something. And the guy finally got down. I said, $10. And he said, seriously? And I said, yeah, $10. And he took the $10 bid, and then somebody else came along and bid, and we went back up to $75. Said, I looked at the auctioneer and I said, nobody really wants this thing. Nobody wants to take it home. No one wants to figure out how to move it. I'll give you $10
Yeah, but
for it.
a Harley, you could have gotten started with enough baling wire and a screwdriver.
I think it looked like
Unless
it
it was
had,
missing a wheel or something. You could have ridden that home.
I think it was missing, I think it was missing a distributor or something. It was missing something off the engine. They used it for parts. It was a parts bike for, and it didn't have headlights. They took the headlights out, and it had the windscreen still, but the cow on it was a little beat up. I actually couldn't believe that I got, you know, that he was able to get $750 out of it. I was thinking we'll be lucky to get a couple of $100 out of this, but
so did you do any work on it between the time you bought it? So just bought and sold, that was it. That's
yep.
cool.
Yeah.
So when you sold it, it was still not roadable.
Nope. The guy, so the auctioneer at he because he had the Rolls Royce, he decided that he was going to do a car auction. That he had 20 or 30 different cars. So it was a small car auction, but the Rolls was what brought people to the auction. And because he did it in town where he had internet connecting and everything, he was able to sell that stuff online as well. And my my motorcycle got bought by a guy who lived in Texas. So he sent a truck up, and he had bought two other cars, and he actually said that he really didn't want the motorcycle, but because he had already bought some cars and it wasn't going to take up any extra room in the truck, and he thought it was going cheap enough, he went ahead and bought it. And I'm like, sure, why not? But he didn't bid on, or he did bid on the Rolls, but he didn't win the Rolls. He had won some other cars, though. And the motorcycle was just an impulse buy for him. Gotta love people like that.
Well, if it was bidding on the Rolls Royce, this was chump changed by the motorcycle.
Here's Vicente. Here comes Vicente.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Vicente's coming. Yeah, auctioneer was a pretty smart guy. He understood, you know, like I said, he wanted to do the other auction online as well. He thought because of some of the stuff that was there, but we ended up doing it, you know, out on out at the house because there was just so much stuff. It logistically it would have been very hard to move all the stuff. So he would have had to
Well,
hire movers and stuff to move all that stuff.
well, certainly, an online auction has got a near infinite market there. I mean, it's, you know,
Yeah, but one of the things in an auction is you need to vet your buyers some.
oh, that's true.
Y-
But
The the biggest thing about buying stuff online like that is whether or not the auctioneer is willing to ship the stuff or if the stuff can be shipped and you can
yeah,
find, because let's say you're in California but you've found something, you know, in New York, you're not going to drive to New York to get this thing.
well, it depends on what it is. Okay.
Well, if you'd found a Rolls Royce for $100, then yeah, but you're not going to find one of those for $100.
Yeah,
But you know, a lot of auctioneers don't want to ship the stuff. They don't want the hassle of packing the stuff up and shipping it.
yeah.
So that limits their market to, you know, a couple hour drive. So, and then there's other auction houses that I've seen where some of the stuff is just too large to ship. So they will ship some stuff, but other stuff they can't ship. So that
Yeah.
limits you to pretty much the local area.
Well, I
That's
bought a car remotely, and they're relatively easy to ship. I didn't realize how easy it was going to be, but there are car shippers for. In other words, it's a big car carrier. A guy has a big car carrier, and he makes a trip from um, East Coast or Midwest to the West Coast, and
that's what the guy in Texas did. He just sent a car carrier to pick up his cars and
yeah,
they're
yeah,
insured and
yep.
take it to Texas. I don't know what that ended up costing him, but I'm sure, like you said, he was there to bid on the Rolls Royce, so he
Well,
didn't really care. The money
the
didn't really matter.
the car I've shipped from Ohio to my home in California, uh, the full size car, it was a Corolla, and I think it was just a pinch north of $1,000.
That's not bad.
And frankly, to fly out there and then drive it back would have been a heck of a lot more than $1,000. You know, it
Wow, I
was,
was gonna say gas would cost half of that.
well, yeah, I mean, or an airplane ticket or whatever. I mean, this was, and this guy who drove across was, he loaded up that car carrier.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know.
That's how he could do it with for $1,000.
Well, I think he probably had, I don't know, 5 or 6 cars on it when he came across, and he would pick them up along the way, and then he would drop them off at the other end,
Yeah.
and
And do it in reverse on his way home.
absolutely, yeah, there was no deadheading. And compared to the hassle I would have had to go to fly out, drive across, drive it back. I mean, it was a bargain, a real bargain. So, any rate, that, and it's, oh, the pooch is there.
So, Mr. Vicente, what are you working on?
I just checking your WhatsApp messages. No, I was I sent you a picture of my new robot.
Yes.
Will arrive on Sunday. It's a 3P
3 pi.
plus Pi plus. So it used the 80 mega of the Arduino Leonardo as the main brain. I was checking if I can use it as an I2C slave. So I am trying to create a sketch to make this new robot works from another microcontroller, just sending messages. Move one wheel at one speed, move the other one at another speed, and so on. But I need to check it when it arrives. It uses the same sensors and drivers than the Sumo robot that you have from Pololu.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of stuff is similar, you know.
You should be able to do that. I mean, you just need to make your own commands for the motors to drive or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should be able to do that.
So my idea is to use my camera to send messages to the robot, turn right, turn left, to do the bright spot follower that I am planning to do. Let me put another camera in the meeting to show my experiment over there.
Okay.
This will be a what happened with Jim?
Don't know.
Anything.
Don't know. Still haven't heard from him.
Okay.
I hope he's all right.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, the last time this happened, as I recall, he wasn't.
Yeah. Yes, I think you're right. The last time he just sort of disappeared. He disappeared for a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So this is Vicente 2.
Vicente Part 2.
Yeah.
He's going to show his other project.
Is the camera
Oh, cool.
working?
Cool.
Okay, so I don't know if you can hear me if I move away from my computer. You still can hear me?
Yeah, you're a little low, but we can hear you.
Okay. So let me show. Let me see something here. This is the ESP32 camera here.
Okay.
And I attach a PFT display to the camera to show the image she is looking at. This is the thing. And I have a laser beam Okay. See. Okay.
Okay.
So the camera is trying to identify where is the brightest spot in the image, and
Oh.
replace the point with a green dot. You see? I don't know if you can see what's going
Okay.
on.
Okay.
You see the hand in the display.
Yeah.
I'm moving the laser pointer. I don't know if can you see? The image is grayscale, and I am computing the brightest spot, brightest pixel in the camera, and replace this pixel by a circle, a green circle. I don't know if you can see. I am the news brighter.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But the idea is to use the camera to control the robot. So the robot will behave like a pet, following the laser pointer. This is my experiment for, I don't know, next week maybe. I have do you remember the robot, the tiny bit, the robot that used the BBC microbit board? The last one I bring to the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, I will remove the controller from this robot, and there is an I2C pins in the robot, so I can tell it directly to the motors to move. So I will try to do that. Maybe tomorrow I need to prepare some connectors from the camera to the robot, and the robot will feed the camera with 3.3 volts, and the camera will send I2C messages to move the motors. So the idea is to make some kind of laser pointer follower. Okay, this is one of the first experiments to work with the camera. Then I will do some color follower. You choose a color and you show to the robot a ball of different colors and make it follow the ball or run away from the ball or whatever. Depending on the color, you can behave different. That's my idea of digital image processing, but in an ESP32 with trying to work with low resolution and computing as fast as possible some thanks to the ESP32 has a lot of flash memory. So the heaviest function in color processing is to translate a RGB color to the different dimension to have a smooth spectrum of colors, so you can create like a window for the green, another window for the blue, and so on. So instead of using a function to translate every RGB color to their hue and luminosity, and there are 3 variables that they are in a different dimension, I create a table that convert instantly the RGB value to those values. So will be very fast, the translation. This is running, actually, I can identify 4 different colors, they size and their location in the screen. And I can do it 25 times per second and still have like 10 milliseconds of spare time to do whatever I want. So it's really fast to maybe to control a robot or move servos or whatever, just with the information you are creating with the image of the colors. Actually, I also am including a function that erase all the pixels that are sparse and far from any cluster of the same color. So I call it the noise. Just eliminate all the pixels that appear in the image, but are not touching the big object. So I check each pixel, and if there is not 3 pixels of the same color around it, I delete it. I do it in all the image for every color, every time. So the noise of dots of different pixels of different colors won't affect the color location, the object location. This is working already also.
Cool.
That's it.
This is what I was playing with.
Okay.
So
Those cars came with the dial?
No, they actually, they used to send like little extra presents when you order, and they sent a bunch of these to me over a year's time, and now they send tape. These are RFID cards, Ray.
Okay.
Not cards. But they don't include RFID cards or tags with the RFID stuff. It's just bizarre. Anyway, I've had these.
Jeez.
So we have green, which would mean go forward.
But you have a bunch of RF tags that you use in a mat for the robot, right? Stickers, round stickers.
Yes, I had some round ones for a different project.
Yeah.
So
mine are hotel card keys.
Yeah, I tried to get it to read the hotel card keys and it didn't. It didn't want to do it. Why isn't
So
this
you
working?
don't turn them back in, Ray?
If they're the magnetic stripe, I'll turn them back in. I don't care. But 99% of the time, the hotel doesn't care. They don't expect you to turn them in. They just want you to leave, pay your money, and leave. Don't break nothing. Don't steal no towel.
I have a lot of those. Sometimes because you don't want to go to the reception again when you're leaving. So let's go.
Why isn't this working? Oh, there it goes.
But they cost cents, so
So
I think they had no.
Green is forward. And
so the dial includes the NF
the RFID reader, yeah. And then we've got blue. That would turn the sucker. Why aren't you reading? There it goes. Said left. And the wheels changed. Anybody guess what red might mean?
Stop.
Right. Red for right.
Red for stop.
Stop. Oh, well. Darn.
Ray's trying so hard. That would
I
be
want to be part of the group.
that would be reverse.
You need to slap some Uno cards on there. Reverse.
Having a hard time reading them. I don't really know why. There it goes. So there's reverse. And this would be black would be right.
RFID, do they really need to be that close?
No, but it's having a hard time reading them for some reason. There it goes. And then the magic of the dial. We have an encoder. And I don't know if you can tell or not on the screen, but it's speeding
I
up.
can see the wheels moving.
And then I can slow it down by turning it the other way.
I can see the ingredients of the soda.
So this is using ESP now.
Mhm.
There's an S3 in this one and just a regular ESP32 in that. And that's what I was playing with earlier today.
Right.
And
I bought these lasers, pens, pointers,
yep,
3 of them for $9, and they deliver in 4 hours. Amazon. I asked for them at 3 p.m. They delivered it at 6 yesterday. 3 hours.
That's impressive.
Yeah. 3 for $9. The 3 different colors. Red, green, and
Blue?
it's not blue, it's purple,
violet. Yeah,
violet. But they are too intense for my code. Maybe instead I select the brightest spot, I will select the brightest area. I will define like a square of 6 by 6 or 3 by 3 pixels, and we'll scan all the image, adding all the pixels to have an average, because this light bounce in the objects, and sometimes you miss the real point because the light bounce between the plastic stuff and so on. So I need to reduce the intensity of the laser.
I like green lasers. Those things are pretty awesome.
I will try with
Yeah,
the red.
the shamrock green is what you need.
Yeah.
They were selling this for $3, for $9, and another set for 12 that said high power. So this is too powerful for me. Imagine the other one will destroy the camera.
Oh, it'll actually burn a spot in the camera?
Well, I read that you can damage a camera with those lasers. You can damage the sensor with too
I'm
much
sure you
intensity.
can.
I saw people destroying the iPad camera with those pointers.
That's an expensive,
Weapon, or
it's like the ones that they use for shining on the airplanes from the ground. Yeah.
yeah, in the airports. It's
You
weird
get
that
your,
you can buy powerful lasers in Amazon without any question.
so you bought this from Amazon?
Yeah,
They
but
came,
this one is, they are legal because they are under 5 milliwatts. But you can buy any power in Amazon. You can buy strong lasers.
I've got M5 sold a laser. I've got it somewhere. It has a laser receiver and a laser transmitter.
Okay.
Those are, it's pretty cool, but it's ultimately useless. It's kind of,
You need to align them.
yes. It's really not good for a robot because the robot's always moving.
Yeah.
Need like some sort of lens or something that would focus it all into one spot. But oh, I see you over there playing with your laser. Yeah, printed me a little holder for it,
Okay.
and I'm going to need to get me a
This
90
can be
degree
a minion eye, the 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 cartoon Minion is the name. Let me show you.
Minions. I don't think they have individual names.
minion. Oh yeah,
I mean, you can make a robot.
could make it could give it a HAL 9000 theme maybe.
I'm
Hello,
sorry,
Dave.
Dave.
What are you doing, Dave?
I am talking about this guy.
Oh
See?
yes, a minion.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Could make a minion robot.
Mhm.
These are back in stock. So I found the way they calculate shipping for this thing though. It they they've doubled the shipping. So if you wanted to get two, they didn't put a reduced shipping price in. It doubled the shipping cost. So two of them would have cost $24 to have shipped.
ooh, ow,
Yeah, that's what I said. So I only got
ow,
one.
wow.
So I only got one. Hopefully they will fix that particular issue because there's no way that it would cost $24 to have two of these things shipped.
So where are they shipping from? Are they in the US already, stocked in the US?
No,
They're coming from
China.
China.
China. They are fast though. I mean, it took less than 14 days, less than 2 weeks. It was actually faster than what they said it was going to be to get here. Of course, the tracking information, as soon as they issued a tracking number, it said that it had been delivered, and I'm like, no, that's not true. So the real tracking number actually showed where it was at, but their kind of weird Chinese tracking number said, nope, it's been delivered. Hasn't
No.
even left your country yet. Just stop it.
So you buy the lasers individually, or they come as a kit of 3?
No, they come in a box, 3 of them.
Okay. So it's a kit or
Yeah,
yeah,
a set,
okay.
a kit, yeah.
Want to be a little careful about pointing those out at your eye.
Mhm.
Oh, what you got there, Lou?
Ray has. Ray, never to be outdone.
Hey, you talk about lasers here. Come on.
Oh,
that's true.
yeah. Well,
That's true.
5 milliwatts.
Is that the limit?
This is the
No.
legal limit, or I don't know.
I've got a handheld laser around here somewhere that
Any.
would just freak you out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. The green.
Yeah, I got lasers. Lasers
Oh
everywhere.
yeah.
Ray knows a thing or two about razors.
Yeah, I guess.
Not trying to compete. I think it's cool. Like that guy going on. Love
ET phone home.
you,
it.
You
Be
have
more
a-
like
you have a green thumb.
Home. Wow. Fast. My hand? Yes. No.
Somewhere in one of my boxes, I've got 3 or 4 green lasers. And I overpowered them once. That was fun.
They use a couple of AAA batteries.
no, mine uses a 18650. This one?
Okay.
The green one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
an 18650. These smaller ones, they're also green. They're really nice considering as old as they are. But I believe they are using AAA batteries.
The ones I have don't take batteries. They've just got power lines, power leads on them, and I've
Just
hooked
pump
them up to
them
all
up.
kinds of things. Yeah, I hook them up to all kinds of stuff. Let's see what
Pump
it
'em up.
does if I hook it up to this. Hook it up to 19 volts. That should be fine. That shouldn't cause any problems.
I was thinking about throwing together some boxes of spare parts and robot pieces and stuff like that. Clear out my junk drawer. Making up some general boxes put a little
Mhm.
bow on it and pass it out to you guys. Let you guys have my junk, or help me clean out my space. Last time I did that, I gave Leroy a Christmas gift, and Leroy was like, "Hey, that's pretty cool." Not sure Jim knew what to do with the box's junk though. Box of parts.
Yeah, Leroy still has at least part of that box because it was a good box. It was a good box of junk.
Because the box. Okay.
I think I threw a Arduino in there and a LCD display and a whole bunch of stuff.
It was a
Mo-
good
mo-
box. It
It
was a
was
good
Motor
box of
junk. It
junk.
was like, here's a random collection of robotic stuff.
And it had not paper clips. It had clothespins and
I
some
think I
other
put clothespins, rubber
stuff.
bands,
Yeah,
golf ball, a whole bunch of stuff in there.
it was a good box of stuff. It really was. It was a great box of stuff.
Yeah, well,
And I
Maybe-
use a lot of that stuff when I had room to actually spread out and do stuff.
oh, maybe sometime when we actually get together, I'll bring in some gift boxes. I got a bunch of extra stepper motors, stepper drivers, stuff like that.
Hey, I know the perfect gift for somebody. 3D printer.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about those. Yeah, I had a couple extras of those still.
Have you had any good hits on getting rid of those?
No, not really. I
Mm.
think you and my dad were the only suckers to jump in on those. So.
Well,
I'm actually very surprised. I think it's because we're right next to the Christmas season.
yeah.
People are not spending their money like that, so it's not a big deal.
Well, like I said, Ray, if you do actually get to open your makerspace,
Yeah, when
that it's perfect. I mean, you've already got 11 printers or more
I got a few that don't have 11 anymore, but still got a few.
or
So,
more.
yeah. And they're nice. They so far everything's working. I did buy extra parts, but I don't need them. Everything's been going good so far.
Yeah, it can never hurt to have extra.
Yeah.
The whole key is it has to be on the right voltage.
Yeah, that did help a lot. So
Boy,
I don't know
boy, I
if
don't
this is an
understand
inside
why
joke or if
Leroy.
everybody's familiar with what's going on.
I don't understand why Leroy's pulling his hair out. These things should work. No, they have to be on the right voltage.
So is everybody else kind of in on that joke?
Yeah.
Maybe,
No.
yes.
Okay, so Steve, what happened was I bought a 3D printer for my son and he loved it. We were building all kinds of stuff, downloading off of Thingiverse. And a couple months later, I bought another one for him because, he'd get something started and he's like, hey, I can't play with 3D printer anymore because, it's already running. So we bought a second 3D printer and that was cool. And then it was like, well, since my son's not using it, I'm going to go ahead and print some stuff that I need for business. So while I was printing something for business, the hot end, the heater unit went bad. And I felt really guilty. So I'm like, okay, I need to go and fix this. Go buy some spare parts. Let's see how much it costs for another 3D printer, whatever. So I started looking out on Craigslist, looking on eBay, and I found the same 3D printer for $45, $48, something like that. So and it happened to be in Columbus, Ohio, and for a pickup only, and nobody was bidding on it. So I went and sent a message to the guy like, hey, how much is the price if I buy 4 of them? I'll stop by. And it just so happened I was driving up to Columbus anyway. So figured it was within 15 miles of where I was going. So I was like, yeah, I'll stop by and take a look at what he's got. And I-
And don't forget, Leroy said, don't go crazy.
Don't go
That-
crazy.
that-
Yeah,
that-
Leroy said don't go crazy.
That,
I was like, well,
that's,
what's your definition of Ray not going crazy? So
that's a big part of the story.
I told the guy I'd buy 4 of them if he dropped the price to $45 from whatever it's 55 or something like that. So I went down to $45, got 4 of them. And while I was there, I'm like, hey, these other boxes say 25. What's the deal with those? Like I'll buy more of these if they're $25 if I can see that the kits are mostly there. They don't look like they're just a box of parts rattling around. And so we went through probably 20 boxes to find the best ones that were in great condition. We had 2 of them that literally you open up the box and all the pieces were still in the plastic bags, never assembled. So the ones that we did assemble, I ended up buying 11 kits. Leroy's laughing about that. So I spent a decent amount of money. I bought some other stuff too. But come back and we put them together. Leroy put one together. I used him as a guinea pig. And here's my son. So I was like, hey, Leroy, tell me, what's wrong with this? What am I going to be looking to run into as a problem? And he's pulling his hair out for a couple days. Turns out the whole problem was that the power supply had the switch set on 230 volts. And he was plugging it into a 110 volt wall. So obviously the output voltage was wrong. It wasn't supplying enough amperage. It wasn't supplying the right voltage. So it was acting a little bit flaky.
A little bit.
A little bit. So as soon as Leroy realized this is supposed to be set at 110, the laser or the 3D printer just started working perfectly. No
Nice.
problems at all. Okay. So Aiden
3
and I
days.
put together
3
2
days.
more. Okay. We put together 2 more and they were the exact same problem. No other issues at all. And since then,
3
we
days.
put together 2 more. And now we got 5 of them all set up and they all had the exact same problem set on the wrong power setting, voltage setting on the power supply.
Power supply.
So, I mean, for a simple problem like that, we did go ahead and buy more temperature sensors, the thermocouples, and we bought more hot end heaters to rebuild the head, but we haven't needed to, have not run into a single other problem.
Nice.
So this whole problem, this whole situation came out of, I overheated one head. Come to find out, like 3 days later, when I told my dad, hey, I bought all these 3D printers, my dad was like, hey, I've got the same printer. And I upgraded to a direct extrusion package, and I still have my old heater head. Do you want that for free? I could have gotten through this whole problem free just by waiting a couple days and talking to my dad first.
Okay.
But no, I ended
but
up
I wouldn't
spending
have
like
gone.
$500.
But I wouldn't have gone through the fun of pulling my hair out.
Yeah. Yep. You enjoyed it though.
3 days. Oh,
So
that was actually one of the most annoying problems ever. I found the solution on an obscure website in a tiny little blurb that said check the voltage on the machine. And I'm like, oh crap, it can't be that simple.
it was so easy. Aiden and I just zipped right through the problem.
Well, tiny little blurb. Check the voltage.
Yep.
So this guy that sold you the 3D printer, how
They
come?
were returns for Micro Center.
Oh,
And in a couple of cases, the 2 cases exactly, somebody bought it, opened up the box, and they were like, oh crap,
I got to put this together.
No, thank you. They closed the box back up. It even had the little coupon inside of it that says $10 off printer filament.
Yeah, the one that I got from him had appeared to have been used minimally, but I had gotten it to start to print a couple of times, and not even, I mean, it would print 2 or 3 layers and it would just fail. So my guess is they had got a whole batch of them in that were set wrong, that had the wrong thing set.
This is a little SD card holder that I printed. Kind of cool.
So this was all through Micro Center in Columbus, Ohio?
So there's a city called Hillard, Hillard. That's where
Hilliard, yeah.
that's where Micro Center's home office is based at. And
Uh-huh.
evidently they have a lot of returns and stuff. And they have a contract with a guy there that he just buys their surplus, their returns, whether it's working or not, and he'll sell it. And so he buys truckloads of returns so that Micro Center effectively, they have some contract with their suppliers that they don't do returns to China. It's a waste of money to try to send stuff back to China.
Yeah.
So this guy in Hillard is not allowed to tell everybody that, hey, this came straight from the scrap bins at Micro Center.
Micro Center. Of
But
course,
it came from.
those of us who know stuff know where it came from.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm looking at these 3D printers as they've got 3 stepper motors, cables, limit switches, hotbeds, and if 80% of the parts work, and if it's random, different problems here and there, I could have put together 5 kits. But so far, 5 boxes and 5 kits are working. And I still have 6 more boxes to go, 7 boxes to go. So I'm good.
The nice thing about these printers are physically the print bed is the same size as my other printers, but the printer is smaller. It's a physically smaller printer, and it actually will fit on my table, where my other printers, I had to kind of make things happen to get the printers to fit. So, I actually have room for the printer here at this tiny little apartment instead of having to deal with other things like and they got the big thumb wheels. They're really nice and easy to set up.
Yeah. Okay.
Were you at Jersey Mike's the other day, Ray?
Oh, what day?
Monday. You muted yourself. Can't hear you.
I was in Arkansas.
Okay.
So
Then that
what's
was not you.
But were you at Jersey Mike's in Arkansas?
so what is Jersey Mike's?
Restaurant.
Oh,
Freaky
And-
Fresh sandwiches.
And I thought I had saw Ray there. That I thought he ran in, grabbed a sandwich off of the shelf and ran out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So here's our shelf of 3D printers. So you see at the bottom, there's 7 more boxes to put together. The one on the bottom left, check this out.
Is that the brand new one?
It's brand new. Nothing has ever been opened. The packaging, these are still wrapped in the saran wrap stuff.
Yep,
I mean,
that's called
all the
somebody
tools and everything.
That's called
Somebody
somebody
just
opened the
decided-
box and said, I'm not putting this together.
Like, I'm not putting that together. There's not even a scratch on the plastic or the metal. Nothing. So that's just crazy. I looked at the heater bed. Nothing. Okay. This one is Aiden's first one. Doing great. Aiden's second one. This is the first one that we put together after Leroy. We've been doing a whole bunch of prints on this one, just practicing, learning. We bought some filament
Just a little.
and practice on printing. Well, you gotta have filament, but we built the shelf to make sure, hey, we had all the space to put all of our stuff. I've been making different tools, like this holds a battery for rigid battery, and that way I can put the metal down in it and I can power other stuff with a rigid battery. So, and this actually was the better design.
Actually looks really nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
That looks like something Rigid itself would have made.
yeah. So, I've got some batteries that have gone bad. I've got some tools that have gone bad, so I can be able to scavenge the metal clips and stuff off the inside. And what we did was I mounted one of those to the side of my pallet jack. So I've got a pallet jack that has a scales built inside of it, but it keeps running, the battery's dead. So we put one of these on there, use it wherever we want, and then no big deal. It works great. We did some headrest things, the ratchet handle, different stuff for the company. Just did a cat. Cool cat. And but anyway, then we built two more, so the top two, and those have not been powered on yet, but we'll be doing that probably this weekend and building a couple more. But yeah, just we bought spare parts and don't need them. We were looking at how easy it is to modify some of this stuff, and this is a filament breakage detector, and so if the filament breaks, it'll stop the project. All you do is plug it in, then tell the software that, hey, I'm using this device. It's that is the coolest crap, and you don't have to load new firmware. You just start using it. This is an SD card and USB flash drive holder, and
Nice.
It's got threads on it. It's actually really cool. So I still got to print the top half of this. But I've got a whole bunch of SD cards. I thought, that it's just a cool way to save them, store them. We can convert to direct drive just by printing a couple of these brackets and remounting the head. So, a couple of basic changes that makes it really easy to upgrade these little printers.
Yeah, this is one of the most upgradable cheap printers
Oh yeah.
ever. You don't like where something is, modify it, change it.
Yeah. So this is the printer style that I've got I got a whole bunch of these things. Got 7 left. And compared to 4 rows of text LCD or liquid character display, compared to this is graphic display. And it's not touchscreen, but it looks like the last file was interrupted. I don't want to continue, just cancel that. And then going through here, tell it I'm to prepare, moving stuff around, move the Z. See, he's moving it around. Yeah. Go to X. See, I'm moving it around. Little basic stuff. That or we can disable the steppers and then just move them around by hand.
And it has
Automatically
a
home.
and it has a handy little container right there in the front.
Okay.
What we got in there right now? And nuts and bolts and screws. So it's doing it's Z homing using the switch over here. There's your switch. It's your X-axis switch. The Y-axis switch is in the back. Power supply is in the back, along with the power supply selector switch back there. The
Yeah, the
SD
ever
card,
important,
USB. We've been started collecting different nuts and bolts and screws, some hot ends, some thermocouple sensors, tools, stuff like that. Just trying to teach Aiden, my son, how to do all this stuff. And it's a fun hobby. This is a 3D printing care kit that we got, and he really enjoys it. I'm hoping that he'll enjoy getting into 3D software soon. So you can see all the different projects that are on the controller card or the SD card. Those are like the workbed size, firmware version, contact details. You're right here. We're just at the main info screen where it tells us like the temperature, bed temperature, extruder tip temperature, all that stuff. It's pretty neat. It's a simple little 3D printer, and for the price, I mean, I just couldn't pass it up. I don't need that many 3D printers, but here's a few computers in case we needed to upgrade. There's like 80 something high-end video card, well, medium video cards.
Don't go crazy, Ray.
Yeah, don't go crazy. You guys, I don't know if you saw, I bought here's my stack of computers.
Oh,
skid load of computers. They've turned off all the lights. They're like, hey, Ray, come home. Hey, Daddy, come home when you get a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I got home like at 10 o'clock last night from Arkansas. And I just figured while I'm here, I had a bunch of stuff to do.
Well,
I'm gonna go
you have a twin in Springboro.
There you are.
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the other thing.
You have a twin in Springboro.
I had this one girl walk up to me while I was in college. She sat down next to me and just started talking to me, just going on and on and on. And she's like, Jeff, man, it's been so long. The last time I saw you was in Bowling Green. And I was like,
Okay.
okay. And as soon as I started talking to her, she's like, your voice has changed. Yep, my name changed too.
That's a great.
Jeff.
Sounds like a pickup line.
Well, she was pretty. I wouldn't mind being picked up by her. I do have two cousins that look quite similar to me. One's name is Phil. He lives in Lebanon, and the other one is Mike. He lives in Franklin. He might have been over at Springboro.
Yeah, maybe.
But,
Well, see the thing that we were sitting there, me and my dad were sitting there eating, and I saw somebody that I thought was you run in, grab a sandwich, and I know Ray would have said, "Hey,
hello, something. Yeah.
I don't have time. Hey, bye."
Yeah, Mike, if he would have come in and rushed through, it's very possible you would have mistaken him for me. And we've had plenty of people like during high school, everybody thought we were brothers.
It
Afterward,
might have been him, but I swear it was you. And I was like, Ray didn't say hi to me.
yeah, I had a ex-girlfriend that she was absolutely mad at me, several years after we broke up. She's like, I just can't believe it. You've become so successful. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, a couple of my friends were at an airport and they said they saw you all dressed up in a suit. And they swore up and down it was you. Like, I have not been dressed in a suit in so long. Not me, but thanks for being jealous. It's all good.
Wow.
See how much I don't care about her. Okay. So anyway, so you guys have seen the extent of some of my projects. I got several more projects I'm working on, but
Ray's
nothing
always
so interesting on the robotics level as you guys are doing. Yeah.
So are you in town for a while?
I will be in town for
Christmas.
I'm going somewhere tomorrow, I think. Chinese people are coming to visit me here soon. I got some stuff in Columbus I'm working on, but I'm not really traveling very far for another week. So I'll be here. Are we planning on visiting, being in person next week?
I honestly think that we are virtual next week.
See, no Christmas gifts then.
Next week's the 28th, 20, yeah. I think we're virtual again.
Yeah, 7th and 14th were in person.
Yeah. So we're virtual again, and then January
So the
4th
first,
will be in person.
so the first 2 weeks of January will be in person, and so it'll be the same drill as this month.
Yep.
Well, Art, if we're in person, are you able to come in and be at the meeting?
That would be a relatively long plane flight at this point in time. I'm in
Where are you
California.
at?
I'm
Where
in
you at now?
California. I'm in
Where
California.
at? Where at?
I'm sorry.
Where at in California?
At my
I
home.
was in Los Angeles last week.
Yeah, well, that's about 400 miles from my home. I live.
know California's pretty big.
Well, no, I live in the Bay Area, in San Francisco Bay Area.
I had to drive all the way down to Diego. So
No,
is that closer?
San Diego to LA is a lot closer than the Bay Area to LA. San Diego.
You're even more south of San Diego, right?
No, I'm north.
Oh, you're north. Oh,
I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, in Fremont, California.
okay.
Yeah, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area when I'm in California, and when I'm in Ohio, I'm in the Milford area, which is south of you.
When you coming back to Milford?
That is to be determined. The reason we're here now, normally we would be in Ohio, and my wife has had some very serious medical problems, and we had to come back out here to get that taken. I mean, we could have taken care of it in Ohio. The difference is in Ohio, everything is out of pocket, whereas in Northern California, we go to the Kaiser facility and it's covered by our insurance.
Okay.
So at any rate, it's really dependent on the resolution of the medical problems that my wife is having. She has something called neuralgia. which
Well, the reason I
is-
was asking is that if I put together a robot kit care package, then I want to make sure everybody gets something. You know,
Well, I think it will probably be at least March before we'll be back in Ohio. We normally are there over Christmas, but you know, unfortunately not this year.
well, I put some information in the text and the chat messages there,
Yeah, I see it.
and
Okay.
send me your address, and I will send you a care gift. Okay, and
Oh,
the reason
thank
that
you.
I would do that is that I want all of our members, our regular guys, to have Arduino kits and whatever, so that when we get in here and we're having these discussions, that we all have played on the Arduino IDE and we've all been able to play with the small robots and to share some of the things that we're doing. I'm not saying that I want everybody to be doing the same thing, but at least to have some fun and some similar content.
Well, thank you very much. At this point, it's going to be best as I can forecast. It's going to be a while before we get back in Ohio. I would love to be there over Christmas, but not the case this year.
Well,
Good luck to your wife.
Well, thank you.
yeah. Yep. I was going to say the same. So we are a little bit after 7. So everybody have a Merry Christmas. That will be in a few days.
Christmas.
Yep.
And the elf on the
Yes.
shelf will be leaving for bringing gifts.
The elf on the shelf.
Oh, I had to get an elf on the shelf because we have Thea.
Oh.
Okay.
Is she pretty much permanently
We don't know.
with that?
We don't know. We don't know.
yeah.
In all cases, think of it as a blessing for the time you get to spend with her. It's always
Yep.
fun. Okay.
And look how many things you're going to learn by having her around.
Oh Lord.
She's already taught me math. Because apparently
that's good.
Papel didn't know how to do math.
Oh man. These are the guys that were the radar. Is it are the radar operators on the subs? Ooh.
Yeah. Apparently I needed to learn how to do math though. So
Oh well.
That's always fun. No, Thea's great. She's a good kid. She is she goes through periods where she gets sad but as of right now, nobody knows beyond. She's going to be here through at least January and maybe longer than that. So that's all we know at this point.
Okay.
So
Now is she there 24 hours a day or just? Oh really? Okay.
yes, her it was made quite clear nobody else is allowed to have her. So
Okay,
we are it. We're the ones.
okay. Well, congratulations. It's
Well,
kids keep you honest. You know, they keep you honest.
they keep you tired is what they do.
Well,
Yeah.
that also, but you know,
I
they
I we haven't had this age kid in the house oh, for a long time.
yeah.
She never stops. She's everywhere. But
Well, usually at that age, they go like a bat out of hell until they don't, and then they just crash, and you know,
that's yeah, that's pretty much the case. She
yeah.
anyway, I know Fatty's making food. So she's
Oh,
probably got that almost done.
what are you having this evening?
Lasagna, I think.
Okay.
Whoa, wait, where you live at?
What was your address?
Da, da, da.
Yeah, the text message was for you. Send me your address.
Yeah,
I think my wife's making fried bologna.
fried bologna.
Fried bologna.
yeah.
Okay.
Wow. So everybody take care.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see everybody hopefully on the 28th.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.